It's refreshing to see that the conversation continues on teacher diversity. Of course, our public education system is becoming increasingly more diverse. So if you're subscribing to the notion that we should have a teacher workforce that is commensurate with the population of students, then that would suggest that there's work to be done.
It is very important in every building to have a diverse group of teachers who can share their knowledge about how to understand the experiences of their students, the language backgrounds of their students, the community and the families, and together build a coherent set of supports for children.
AACTE has different initiatives to recruit and retain diverse people into the teaching force. One is the Home Scholar Group, and it set about the business of increasing the number of African American minority faculty in higher education, which has in turn increased the impact on diverse candidates who are coming into higher education who want to be teacher educators. Programs such as the Black and Hispanic Network for recruiting minority males into education, and the AACTE Global Diversity Committee. And so AACTE has done a phenomenal job in terms of gathering the most recent research, but also disseminating that information through its constituent partners.
Deep strategies about how do we partner across the segments to ensure diverse candidates are recruited and retained. In the California State University system, we have a multi-pronged approach. So we work with potential students beginning in middle school and high school. We work with our community college partners, of course. We work with paraprofessionals in our school district. We also work with career changers, candidates who really had a passion for being a teacher but decided to do something first and then came back to us.
The truth of the matter is that promising minority students may end up realizing that perhaps the pursuit of a more lucrative position may not be fulfilling to them.
We actually have been recruiting teachers of color at a very high rate. We have doubled the number of teachers of color we recruit in teaching. However, we lose them at a very high rate as well, and there's several reasons for that. One is that 3/4 of teachers of color go into the highest minority, highest poverty schools, often out of a sense of mission, but those are also schools which are the least likely to have good working conditions and all the other supports that would keep you in the profession.
During the teacher's first 3 years, that's a critical part of actually whether or not they will stay in the teaching force, whether or not they will be retained. And so you find a person who is committed to teaching, but at the same time doesn't have the ample infrastructure to help him or her to do well, they're going to be less likely to stay in that profession.
And so it's definitely kind of something that's taking place that we have to think about addressing. And a lot of it has to do with racial isolation that's actually happening in the classroom, being able to connect with community who are committed to the same social justice values and critical conscience that brings a lot of teachers of color to the profession in the first place.
Different ways that the universities can support the faculty of color, provide a mentoring program, making sure they also have a diverse hiring committee. They're not just alone in terms of isolation and feeling that they're the only ones in the department, therefore don't have, again, the mentorship or role models that they might also need in order to succeed.
One of the most important things that teachers mention is that it depends on the principal and the supports that they get and the extent to which they're in a collaborative environment.
So leadership. If you have a vision for using kind of education as a way to transform society, then you need to be under kind of leadership or kind of directed by leadership that affirms that vision, gives you the resources that you need to be able to thrive.
We learn from one another. We work collegially to get to a higher standard. And that's what professions are all about. It is that collective commitment to advance knowledge and to use the knowledge and to help one another better express what we know how to do with a moral commitment to those we serve that is the foundation of the profession.